This is nScreenNoise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at nScreen Media, and today is February 2nd, 2018. Do you live in a home that has broadband but does not have multi-channel television? Well, certainly there's one here, and according to Kagan, we are not alone. Apparently in 2017 there were 19 million homes that had broadband but did not have multi-channel television, and Kagan thinks this group is going to grow very quickly between now and 2022. The company says it believes there will be 37.2 million. That's almost double in 2022. That's impressive growth indeed. In fact, it says the households with broadband but without multi-channel television will go from 15.5% of homes in 2017 to 29% in 2022. Now that's really massive growth, and this actually implies, when you factor out the extra homes that have been built in that period, which Kagan thinks is about 5 million homes will be built between now and 2022. If you factor those out, that means that 13 million homes today that have multi-channel television are not going to have it by 2022. And I think there are a couple of factors that are really affecting that are actually highlighted by some really interesting data. Now, the first of those is over-the-air television. Now, there has been a big resurgence in people sticking an antenna on their roof or buying one of these fancy active antennas and using those in their home over the last few years. In fact, Nielsen says that back in Q2 2015 there were 12.7 million homes using over-the-air television, and that has grown to 15.8 million in Q2 2017. But here's the thing, the growth is driven by broadband homes. Over that period, the number of homes with just over-the-air television and no broadband has virtually stayed unchanged at about 6 million, 6.4 million. However, the number with over-the-air television and broadband has increased from 6.7 million to 9.4 million. And in fact, in the last year, it has accelerated. That growth has accelerated to around about 20% a year. So if you look now, and I forecast this out through 2022, if we continue this growth pattern, there will be about 20 to 25 million homes with over-the-air TV and with broadband. So this is a big growth, and one of the reasons that over-the-air television is enjoying such big growth is when people cut the cord. Initially, I think they believe that they can manage with just broadband, but they very quickly realize it's quite difficult to get their local sports teams, and it's also quite difficult to get events like the Grammys, for example. And actually the Grammys on Sunday drove one of the biggest sign-up days for CBS All Access for people looking for the Grammys online, and the only way they could get it was through CBS All Access. But you know, over-the-air solves all of that. You get your local sports teams, you get big events like the Oscars and the Grammys, and it doesn't cost you anything, or maybe just the price of that aerial. And what's more, it looks like it might stay this way for a while into the future. News this week that Fox actually signed a deal with the NFL, a 5-year deal with the NFL for $3 billion that gives it Thursday night footballs for its broadcast channels through 2022. So it's good news there if you're using an over-the-air antenna or planning to switch to one. The second one is one that we all know, and that is of course SVOD. And new data from Lend.edu, which is a personal finance website, really shows how SVOD is factoring into the decision to get rid of multi-channel television. The company surveyed a bunch of people, and what they found was that people dumping pay TV say that they save on average $115 a month. That's a huge saving. And now 58% said that they were cutting because it was too costly, and one can understand that if they were paying $115. 21% said because of SVOD. But here's the thing, 72% said that they were using SVOD before they cut the cord, and they had on average 2.7 streaming services. So by cutting, if they felt like they were having enough content from those SVOD services, they would indeed save all of that money. And it looks like they may well have been getting a lot of their content from those SVOD, so much that they felt that they could manage without pay television, because what the company says is that about 80% of pay TV subs have SVOD, but barely 50% say they use their cable subscription more than their SVOD subscriptions. That's pretty shocking when you bear in mind how much it costs for cable and for pay television. And in fact, LendEDU says that after cutting, the average cutter is spending about $35.33 to be precise, on SVOD services. So you can see that dynamic where consumers take streaming services, and once they take them, they find they use them more and more until they're using them more than pay TV, and suddenly that disparity in cost, that disparity in price, is a driving factor for them to actually end up getting rid of those multi-channel TV subscriptions. So this is a trend that I think we're going to see continue a lot in the upcoming years, particularly if Kagan's forecasts come true, and certainly this Nielsen data and this LendEDU data suggests that it actually will. And you can bet we'll be tracking that change here on nScreenNoise. We'll see you again next time.